Every woman you know, your girlfriend, your wife, even the one who swears she doesn't need a man, she's hiding something, a desire so deep, she may not even admit it to herself. It's not flowers. It's not dinner dates. It's not a man who bends over backward to make her happy. That's what she says she wants. But what she feels, pulled to what makes her heart race, is something completely different, something darker, something more primal, something that scares her, and that most men will never understand. You see, every woman secretly longs for a certain kind of man, not the one who tries the hardest, not the one who's always available, not the one who plays it safe just to keep her close. She dreams of the man who can shake her, not with words, not with gifts, but with his presence, his energy, his power. A man who doesn't chase her, because he doesn't need to. A man who doesn't fold when she tests him, because his strength is not for sale. A man who awakens something in her that she's kept buried, a part of her that wants to feel deeply, lose control, let go. This isn't about being aggressive. This isn't about being toxic. This is about being the kind of man who is so grounded in who he is that she has no choice but to lean in and surrender. And the truth is, most men will never trigger this part of her, not because they're not good enough, but because they've been taught to be predictable, to be polite, to be safe. But safe doesn't spark desire. Predictable doesn't make her heart race. Nice doesn't make her crave. So today, we're going to talk about what she'll never tell you, the hidden desire behind every test, every pull away, every wall she builds, and how you can become the man who doesn't just attract her, but awakens her. Lesson 1. She doesn't want control. She wants to feel something real. At first, it looks like she wants to lead. She decides where the relationship is going. She sets the pace. She asks the questions, calls the shots, and sometimes she even makes you feel like you're the one chasing. But look deeper. This need for control isn't what it seems. It's not power she truly wants. It's protection. She's not trying to lead because it makes her happy. She's doing it because she's afraid to let go. Afraid to be disappointed again. Afraid to trust a man who turns out to be weak. Afraid that if she opens her heart, no one will know how to hold it. So she stays in control. She stays guarded. She builds emotional walls made of independence, sarcasm, busy schedules, and "I'm fine." But here's the truth. She's exhausted from carrying it all. She's not dreaming of a man who follows her lead. She's dreaming of a man strong enough to take the weight off her chest. Without saying a word, she wants to feel something real, something that shakes her in the best way. Not because you pressured her, but because your presence made her stop thinking. The man she secretly desires, he doesn't argue for control. He doesn't fight her for leadership. He just is. Calm, certain, grounded. When she leans in emotionally, he doesn't chase. When she pulls back, he doesn't beg. When she tests him, he doesn't flinch. Because he's not there to play the game. He's there to feel and be felt. And in that moment when she realizes he won't play by her rules, something inside her softens. The tension drops. The mind quiets. The heart begins to open. That's when she starts to feel something real. Something rare. Not because he forced her to feel, but because he didn't need her permission to be the man. And that's when the mask comes off. That's when control fades. And connection begins. Lesson 2. Her games are just walls, and most men stay outside. She pulls away when things get close. She gets distant right after being warm. She teases you, tests you, even pushes your buttons just to see what you'll do. You might think she's playing games, but she's not playing. She's protecting, because every woman has been hurt, not just by men, but by her own vulnerability, her own emotions, her own hope. So now, she builds walls. Not the kind you can see, but emotional walls, psychological walls, walls made of sarcasm, silence, mood swings, or overthinking, walls that say, "Can I trust you? Will you stay calm if I get emotional? Can you hold me when I'm messy, not perfect?" Most men see these walls and back off. They think, she's too difficult. She's crazy. She's just playing games. So they walk away. Or worse, they try to fix her, convince her, please her. And when they do, she loses even more respect. Because deep down she knows, he couldn't handle me. But the man who makes her feel safe, the one who doesn't try to tear down her walls, but just stands outside them, steady, grounded, unshaken, that man is different. He doesn't panic when she tests. He doesn't chase when she pulls away. He doesn't beg for access. Instead, he lets her walls speak. And by not reacting, he shows her something no other man has shown her. I'm not afraid of your fire. I'm not here to win a game. I'm here when you're ready to be real. And when she feels that, when she senses his calm in the chaos, her walls begin to crack. Not because he broke them, but because she no longer needs them. Most men stay outside her gates, knocking harder and harder. But the man she lets in, he's the one who waits with presence, not performance. He doesn't rush her healing. He doesn't chase her approval. He gives her space, but never loses his center. And that stillness, that quiet strength, it speaks louder than any words. It tells her, this man isn't here to play along. He's here to stay calm, even when I'm not. And that is the man she lets pass the walls. Not the one who tries to break in, but the one who makes her feel safe enough to open the door. Lesson 3. She wants a man who can handle her storm. She might look calm on the outside, strong, independent, in control. But inside, there's a storm of emotions she's never let anyone fully witness. Moments of fear she hides behind strength. Tears she holds back behind laughter. Rage, sadness, joy, confusion spinning all at once. And the truth is, she's not waiting for a man to fix that storm. She doesn't want a savior. She doesn't want someone who tries to calm her down every time she feels too much. She wants a man who can hold her through it. Not silence her, not run from her, not tell her she's too emotional. She wants to be able to cry, without being told to relax. She wants to break down, without watching you break down too. Because if she has to protect you from her emotions, then you're not strong enough to carry her. What she's really testing is your ability to stay present, to stand tall in her storm, without trying to shut it down or escape. Most men either get overwhelmed, or they go into fix-it mode. They start giving advice. They try to cheer her up. They tell her to look on the bright side. But here's the thing, she doesn't need you to fix her. She needs you to feel her, to sit in the fire with her, to witness the storm without fear, to look her in the eyes and silently say, I see you, I'm not going anywhere. The man who can handle her storm is rare, because he doesn't try to control it. He allows it, without absorbing it, without losing himself in it. He's like a tree in the middle of a thunderstorm, unmoved, rooted, present. And when she feels that, when she knows she can bring all of herself, not just the pretty parts, something powerful happens. She softens. She surrenders. She trusts. Because now she knows, this man won't run when it gets intense. This man won't crumble under pressure. This man can handle the truth of who she is. And that's the kind of man she won't forget. Not because he gave her answers, but because he gave her space. Space to be raw, to be wild, to be real. Lesson 4. Mystery creates desire. Predictability kills it. Let's make one thing clear. Desire doesn't live in routine. It doesn't grow in a space where she can predict your every word, every move, every emotion. You see, most men make the same mistake. They show all their cards too early. They text her non-stop. They share every thought, every feeling, every insecurity. They try to be an open book because they think that will make her feel safe. But what it really does is make her bored. Because once she can figure you out, once she knows exactly how you'll react when she pulls away, or what you'll say when she gets upset, you become comfortable, not captivating. She doesn't dream about the man she understands fully. She dreams about the one she can't quite figure out, the one who makes her feel curious, drawn in, on edge, in the best way. That mystery, that tension, it's what creates fire. It's what makes her think about you at night, replay your words, and wonder what you're thinking when you go quiet. Now don't get it twisted. Mystery isn't about being fake. It's not about playing games. It's not about ignoring her or being distant just to get a reaction. It's about having depth. It's about being so rooted in your own purpose, your own path, that you don't need to explain yourself all the time. You move with intention. You speak with clarity. You choose what to reveal and what to hold back. And in doing that, you create an emotional rhythm she can feel, but not control. And that's what pulls her in. She starts wondering, who is this man really? What drives him? What is he not saying? That space between what she sees and what she senses, that's where her desire lives. Because now, you're not just a man, you're a mystery. Not a puzzle to be solved, but a presence to be felt. And here's the real secret. When a woman feels like she can't fully map you, when she can't pin you down emotionally, you don't become a threat. You become magnetic. She leans in. She follows your lead. Not because you forced it, but because the unknown is irresistible. Predictable men are everywhere. They give her attention, affection, routine, and comfort. But the man she desires, he gives her something no one else does. Mystery, depth, uncertainty wrapped in strength. And that's unforgettable. Lesson 5. Most men chase validation, not respect. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men don't actually want to be respected. They want to be validated. They want her to smile when they text. They want her to say, "You're a good man." They want constant reassurance, approval, attention. So what do? They over-explain. They over-text. They over-give. They apologize for having standards. They become the nice guy, not because it's who they are, but because it's the fastest way to feel accepted. But here's the catch. Validation is cheap. It's easy to give and easy to take away. One mood swing, one bad day, one disagreement, and the woman who once made you feel like a king now makes you feel invisible, because she was never truly respecting you. She was just feeding the performance you put on to impress her. And once she feels that performance, once she sees you're bending yourself just to win her approval, she pulls back, not because she's cruel, but because something inside her shuts off. Because a woman might enjoy being admired, but she only desires the man she can respect. So what's the difference? Validation-seeking men want to be chosen. Respected men do the choosing. Validation-seeking men shift who they are depending on her mood. Respected men stay grounded, no matter what she feels. Validation-seeking men are afraid to upset her. Respected men are not afraid to disappoint her in order to stay in their truth. And here's what most guys don't get. If a woman senses that your confidence depends on how she feels about you, she will lose attraction fast. Because how can she feel safe with a man? Who needs her approval just to feel like a man? But when you stop chasing validation, when you stop trying to impress, when you stop begging to be liked, something changes. Your words hit differently. Your silence carries weight. Your presence begins to command respect without needing to ask for it. Because now you're not trying to be good enough for her. You're deciding if she's right for you. And that shift in energy, that's what she feels. That's what makes her slow down and pay attention. Because now, you're no longer one of the many trying to win her. You've become one of the few she's hoping to keep. So, stop chasing her praise. Stop needing her likes, her compliments, her reassurance. And start becoming the man who doesn't need validation, because he already walks with self-respect. And trust me, the man who respects himself is the one every woman wants, but only the rare ones get. Lesson 6. She wants to surrender not to a man, but to a feeling. You've been told she doesn't want to submit, that she doesn't want to surrender, that she wants to be in control, lead, and decide everything. But that's not the whole truth. She doesn't want to surrender to just any man. She wants to surrender to a feeling that no man has ever made her feel before. A feeling of safety so deep, a presence so grounded, a connection so real that she can finally stop pretending. You see, she's tired. Tired of being strong all the time. Tired of holding it all together. Tired of smiling when she's breaking inside. Tired of being in her head, analyzing everything, because no man has ever made her feel safe enough to just let go. But when you walk into her life and bring a presence that's calm, strong, unshaken by her moods, unbothered by her tests, unmoved by her chaos, you create a space she's never experienced before. A space where she doesn't have to lead, where she doesn't have to explain herself, where she doesn't have to act strong when she really just wants to feel. That's when something begins to shift inside her. Her walls start to soften. Her guard begins to drop. And she finds herself feeling emotions she thought she had buried. She doesn't choose this surrender consciously. It happens to her. Because your presence triggers something deeper than logic. She doesn't surrender to you because you dominate her. She surrenders to the feeling you bring out of her, a feeling she can't find with anyone else. It's not about control. It's not about weakness. It's not about being submissive. It's about being so deeply seen, felt, and understood that her nervous system relaxes, that her heart opens, that her soul feels safe. And when that happens, when she doesn't have to be in control anymore, because you're already leading with quiet strength, she melts, she softens, she surrenders. Not to your words, not to your looks, not to your money, but to the energy you hold, to the man you've become. Most men want her to give herself over, but they've never created the emotional gravity that makes her feel pulled in. They want her to open up, but they've never shown that they can handle what lives inside her. But the rare man, the one who walks with quiet confidence, who leads with stillness, not noise, who makes her feel safe in his presence without needing to prove anything, that man becomes the one she never wants to let go of. Because she's not surrendering her power, She's surrendering her protection. And the moment she feels like she doesn't need that armor anymore, she gives you a version of herself that no other man has ever seen. Lesson 7. Her fantasy versus reality. The man she craves, but will never admit she wants. She'll tell the world she wants a nice guy. Kind, gentle, thoughtful. She'll post about loyalty, consistency, affection. And yes, those things matter. But they're not the whole story. They're not what keeps her up at night. They're not what she secretly dreams about. Because deep down, in the part of her heart she guards the most, there's a fantasy she will never admit out loud. It's not about flowers. It's not about being spoiled. It's not even about being loved. It's about being disarmed. Emotionally, energetically, spiritually. She dreams of a man who doesn't try to win her, but a man who moves through life in such a powerful, grounded way that she finds herself drawn in without even understanding why. A man who sees straight through her smile, straight through the walls, and into the places she's kept hidden for years. She doesn't want to lead. She doesn't want to constantly test, control, or guide the connection. She wants to forget she even had those defenses. She wants a man who doesn't flinch when she gets cold, who doesn't lose himself when she pulls away, who doesn't get emotional just because she does. She wants the man who can feel her energy shift and remain unmoved, because that man, he awakens something in her that every other man left asleep. A woman doesn't crave what's easy. She doesn't desire what's predictable. She doesn't respect what she can fully control. Her deepest craving is to feel fully claimed by a man who doesn't lose himself trying to keep her. And here's the part no one says out loud. That fantasy scares her, because it means letting go. It means surrendering to something she can't dominate. It means feeling something real, not something safe. That's why she rarely admits it, even to herself. But when that man shows up, she feels it in her body before her mind can even process it. Her heart races. Her guard softens. And suddenly, she's no longer in control. Not because he took it, but because he never asked for it. And that's the difference. The man she craves doesn't play the game. He doesn't dance for her attention. He doesn't try to be chosen. He is the choice. And she knows it the moment she feels his presence. So if you think being liked, being safe, or being nice is what will unlock her, you've already lost. Because her fantasy, it's not the man who gives her what she wants. It's the man who gives her what she never knew she needed. And that man is rare. But when he appears, she remembers him forever. Here's the truth. Most men will never hear. Or worse, they'll hear it and still ignore it. She doesn't crave the man who gives her everything she wants. She craves the man who gives her something deeper, something she didn't even know she needed. Not comfort, not attention, not constant compliments, but awakening, a feeling, a force that shakes her, not with chaos, but with clarity, not with control, but with calm. And that man? He's rare, because most men are afraid to stand in their own power. They're too busy chasing approval, too scared of upsetting her, too desperate to be chosen. So they perform. They apologize for having a backbone. They shrink to be accepted. They disappear the moment things get real. And you know what that creates? A world full of forgettable men. Nice, predictable, safe, but never felt, never desired. But the man she never forgets, the one who lives in her mind long after the conversation ends, is the man who never tried to be someone else. The man who didn't chase her validation because he already respected himself. The one who didn't try to control her storm because he had already mastered his own. That's the man who breaks her patterns, the one who makes her feel something, not through words, but through presence, not by trying harder, but by being realer. So here's the question. Are you ready to stop chasing women and start becoming the man she can't ignore? Are you done performing, over-explaining, and hoping to be chosen? Because when you truly understand what you've just heard, you'll stop asking, how do I make her like me? And you'll start asking, who do I have to become so she feels me without me ever having to say a word? So if you're done playing safe, if you're ready to become the man she secretly dreams about, the one she'll never post about, but will always remember, comment below. I become the man. Let's see how many men are done chasing and ready to start leading.